Welcome back. A recent survey for Ancestry found that nearly 60% of parents say that the COVID-19 pandemic has increased their interest in understanding their genetic health. They recently launched Ancestry Health. It's an advanced genetic testing technology designed to help people understand their risk for developing certain inherited health conditions. My guest today is Sarah South, the Vice President of Laboratory Sciences at Ancestry DNA. Welcome, Sarah.
Thank you, Audrey. Thanks for inviting me and giving me the opportunity to share about Ancestry Health with your audience today.
So I always find genetics and genetic information and what all that means really fascinating. So tell us about Ancestry Health and how it differs from other consumer genetic testing options.
So Ancestry Health is the latest offering from Ancestry, which you probably know of for telling you about your ethnic origins from your DNA. Ancestry Health, though, is now looking at your DNA using a more advanced sequencing technology called next generation sequencing. That's one of the ways that it's differentiated from other products on the market. It's a more comprehensive way to look at your DNA specifically for genetic markers that are associated with an increased risk of developing a series of conditions such as breast cancer or colon cancer or cardiovascular conditions such as high cholesterol or blood clots. And these conditions can be prevented if the risk of the condition is recognized prior to the development of the clinical symptoms. There may be screenings or particular medications that would reduce your risk. So by looking at your DNA, we identify if any of these risks are present and then notify you through a secure online portal of what was identified and what actions you would take in conjunction with your healthcare provider to prevent any of these conditions from developing.
Interesting. So if you already have an Ancestry account, do you have to resubmit your DNA for Ancestry Health?
The vast majority of people will not, if they have consented to allow us to store the residual sample from their first test. We can reuse the DNA that's been extracted with this new technology to look for these specific genetic health markers. A new customer or a customer in which we no longer have a sample will just be sent a new collection device. It's just a simple tube that you spit in and then you send back. You also do this in conjunction with a physician. So we call it activation, but it's basically you go online and you answer a series of questions about your personal health and your family's health. The physician reviews this information as it's important in providing you personalized information about your genetic risks. They order the test, and then a clinical laboratory is processing the sample and providing the results back to the physician, where it's packaged up with information that's specifically designed for you to understand what was identified and next steps to take, as well as a packet of information for you to share with your physician so they can be your partner in this preventative action. We also encourage you to share this information with your family members because you share DNA with them. So if you have an increased risk from something in your DNA, it's possible that they have that increased risk as well. So you are in control of sharing that information, but we do encourage it as conversations. It's important as a way to keep yourself healthy and a way to keep your family healthy.
I just find this completely and totally fascinating. So COVID-19 is on everyone's mind. Is Ancestry also working to better understand the possible role of genetics in COVID-19?
Yes, so that's a separate initiative at Ancestry where we've reached out to current Ancestry customers to ask if they would want to participate. They consent to this process. They answer a series of questions about either their symptoms, flu-like symptoms or COVID symptoms, any tests that they may have had to determine if they have been infected or if they have antibodies. We match the answers to those questions with their de-identified genetic information to look for both non-genetic and genetic links to both the susceptibility, so getting COVID, as well as the severity of COVID if you do become infected with COVID. We're hoping that this information then helps the entire community both identify better ways to prevent and better ways to treat COVID. We're not just keeping this information internal with Ancestry either. Through this consent process and de-identification, we share this information with the international consortium so that they can identify, do their own research on this data set, and we can validate each other's findings and move the science forward quickly.
Well, I would imagine also that couples considering having children could also benefit from the information that Ancestry Health offers.
Yeah. Some of the conditions that are on Ancestry Health have to do with carrier status for conditions such as cystic fibrosis or sickle cell anemia. Carrier conditions are ones in which the parents may have a genetic alteration in which they don't develop the condition themselves, but if both parents are carriers, there's an increased risk for their children to develop the condition. And so by knowing that yourself and then knowing whether or not your partner has the risk, you can work with your healthcare provider to determine whether or not there's particular things you want to do when it comes to having children and particular things you might test future children for. Because again, you share DNA with your family members. So we encourage you, but again, it's up to you to share this information with your family members as well as your healthcare provider.
And how can people reach out to Ancestry Health if they're interested in this process?
Yeah, so they go to the website ancestry.com/health. There they can learn about the conditions. They can learn more about this test. They can also learn about that COVID-19 research study that we talked about. And if they want to participate, they can consent through ancestry.com/health.
My guest has been Sarah South, the Vice President of Laboratory Sciences at Ancestry Health. Thanks so much for spending time with me today.
Thank you, Audrey. It's been a pleasure.
There's more to come on Talk with Audrey. I'll be right back. According to a new Edward Jones and Morning Consult study, since the COVID-19 pandemic has upended the education sector, Americans are reconsidering investing in higher education. Nela Richardson is a principal strategist for Edward Jones, and she has the details of the survey and information about some tools that are currently available to help assist you with planning for college. Welcome, Nela.
Thanks for having me.
So, what has this survey revealed about Americans' commitment to investing in higher education?
Well, the first thing is that families are still committed to education. In fact, if you look at our survey, the priority in terms of savings is saving for retirement. Then comes saving for emergencies, but very next is saving for your kids' education. So it's a critical, important part of families' financial strategies over time. But what the survey also revealed is that 80% of those people who are saving for that traditional traditional 4-year college experience are now citing concerns that quality might suffer because of the switch to online learning due to the pandemic. So we know that colleges and universities have changed the way they educate students quite a bit amidst COVID. What hasn't changed, though, is the cost of tuition. And so about a third of our adults here in our survey are reconsidering that investment in higher education because of COVID-19.
So, of course, parents want tuition to go down. Colleges want to keep it at the same rate. The truth is that regardless of what you do, when it comes to saving for college, you're going to have to save up a substantial amount of money because there are all kinds of other expenses.
That's right. You want to get the biggest bang for your buck that you possibly can, right? And a really efficient way to do that is a 529 savings plan. It also confers a tax benefit, which is a double addition to how this 529 plans could benefit families. But what's key in understanding people's use of this plan is that many people don't even know it exists. In fact, under half of the adults we surveyed even knew what a 529 plan did or was, let alone what it could do in terms of helping them make education expenses.
So break it down for us, Nela. Tell us all about the plan.
Oh, sure. Okay, didn't mean to leave you hanging there. No, the 529 plan, it's really been expanded and made more flexible even over the last 3 years. So we know that 529 plans can be efficient savings vehicles for college tuition, but it also can be used for tuition in K through 12 education as well. And it can be used for college-related and education-related expenses. That means that if you have elementary school students who are learning at home remotely because of COVID-19, a 529 plan could be used to upgrade their laptop or to pay for internet services. It can be used to pay off student loans, which many of us are very familiar with. And we know that about a fifth of our survey respondents said they wanted to skip education in college altogether because of COVID and go directly into the jobs market, maybe full employment or an internship. 529 plans can be used to pay for apprenticeships. So a lot of flexibility that people really don't know about.
Well, another thing I think is that's becoming quite evident is that most young people don't know enough about financial resources and how to use them. Tell us about the Edward Jones and EverFi online tool for financial fitness.
That's right. We have prioritized financial literacy. We think it's cornerstone to building savvy investors. And the earlier you start, the better it is for young people to grow their wealth over time. And it's an important resource for families as well. So we've partnered with EverFi for a free online tool on financial literacy for families to get started, to learn about 529 plans, yes, but also to learn things that are basic, like a savings account. You don't want the first time that your college student sees a credit card with their name on it to be when they enter a college campus and don't know what to do with it. You want to prepare them for financial independence. This online tool is a great place to start. We've partnered with high schools to give teachers the resources they need to educate high school students on how to be financially literate.
Wonderful. And where can we go for some more information?
Well, a great place to start is edwardjones.com/529. There you can find all the options available to you for these 529 plans. You can have access to our free online tool with EverFi. And you can also, if you choose to, connect with a financial advisor at Edward Jones who can help you make these decisions. So a great resource when you're starting out in investing, or if you're changing your priorities and investing over time.
Well, Nela, I always say informed's empowered, and I love providing my audience with the information so that they're empowered to make good decisions, especially when it comes to their financial resources and how they're going to use those. Nela, thanks again so much for joining me.
Thank you. Thanks for bringing the survey to your viewers, your audience.
There's more to come on Talk with Audrey. I'll be right back.
Hi there, I'm Audrey Adams. Do you want to live a better, healthier, and more financially secure life? If so, then Talk with Audrey is for you. I talk to experts from a variety of fields. We'll talk about your financial life. We also delve into health and aging, and of course, business. You can get the benefit of all these interviews and so much more. Just watch Talk with Audrey right here. And if you need more information, either about me or the show, visit my website, talkwithaudrey.com. Tell your friends, your neighbors, your coworkers, everyone you know, to join you in this pursuit of a better life. Watch Talk with Audrey.
You're watching Talk with Audrey. Welcome back. A camping experience can be invaluable for those burdened by childhood cancer because it provides support and connection to others. This past August, Northwestern Mutual, through its foundation and in collaboration with Lollipop Theater Network, united hundreds of children and families who are affected by childhood cancer for a one-of-a-kind virtual camp experience called the Ultimate Camp-In. And to tell us all about it, Eric Christopherson, Vice President of Strategic Philanthropy and Community Relations and President of Northwestern Mutual Foundation. Welcome.
Thank you. Well, glad to be here.
I mentioned before we started our conversation that I went to the website to learn more about the Ultimate Camp-In. It was really unique, but Northwestern has been engaging with and supporting childhood cancer survivors for a long time. Tell us all about the program.
Well, that's right. The Northwestern Mutual Childhood Cancer Program has been around since 2012. And since that time, we've contributed more than $30 million of funding more than 400,000 hours of research. The whole objective is to provide funding for research to ultimately find a cure for all childhood cancers. We also provide family support for the families who are going through it, and ultimately care for those kids who are actually theoretically done with their treatments but are experiencing the long-term effects as a result of those treatments. So survivorship is also an important component of what we're doing at Northwestern Mutual.
The young people who finish their cancer treatment and are experiencing the effects of those treatments often can't participate in a lot of activities that their peers take for granted. Tell us how you developed the Ultimate Camp-In.
Yeah, well, when you think about it, when a family gets that terrible childhood cancer diagnosis, their lives are turned upside down. Not only that child, but the family as a whole. So what you and I might take for granted as normal day-to-day activities, they no longer can do. They're consumed with hospital visits, treatments, and basically doing things that normal kids they just shouldn't have to do. So the camp experience is an opportunity for them to escape their day-to-day reality and get a chance to just, dare I say it, be a kid again. and a wonderful opportunity for them to escape reality and meet other kids who are like-minded, going through similar experiences. So a wonderful respite and a wonderful escape for the child who's going through the experience, as well as the family.
Talk to us about your association with Lollipop Theater Network and about the virtual camp experience.
Well, we've been doing camps for a couple of years, typically in person. And this year, with everything that's going on, that clearly was not going to be viable. So we partnered with Lollipop Theater Network, who are fantastic partners, and helped us create a virtual online experience whereby we were able to invite more than 80 families. So we actually had a larger experience than we otherwise would have, and leveraged the opportunity to bring in celebrity camp counselors, if you will, and created activities such as dance lessons through the New York City Ballet, cupcake decorating through Monique Coleman from High School Musical and Julie Gardner from Cake Camps. We had a magician in. We had the opportunity for the kids to do Q&A with the voice of SpongeBob. So a whole host of activities that allowed the kids to escape their reality and get away from the day-to-day routine, but also do it with other kids who are going through the same thing. Very unique experience.
So the video on Northwestern Mutual's site was wonderful. I saw parents and siblings sitting in the background, and it seems to me that these activities are also opportunities for family members to bond.
Absolutely. It's not just the kids. It's a family bonding experience. What we've seen over the years is that the families actually rally around these opportunities. It makes the family a tighter-knit group. You know, childhood cancer diagnosis candidly creates a lot of stress within the family unit, as you might expect. And opportunities like this actually bring the family together, brothers and sisters, parents alike. And also, they create lifelong relationships with these people that might be all the way across the country that they've never met before. And they create bonding relationships. And who knows, we may be changing lives forever, but most importantly, just an opportunity for these kids to escape reality as well as their families for at least a day.
The ultimate camp-in virtual experience seemed more engaging, and the young people seem more engaged than I've seen on other virtual meetings and experiences. How did you manage to create that magic?
Well, I wish I personally could take credit for it, but I can't. I mean, I was just as amazed as you were that the technical experience, these kids take to it like you wouldn't believe. It was quite magical. A lot of the credit for that goes to the hard work put in by Lollipop Theater Network, who are masters at this and found a way to engage these kids. So it's rather than not just sitting there watching TV, if you will, but they actually felt like they were a part of something and they were a part of a relationship with other kids. So while it was virtual, I know when I was sitting through it, I felt like I was very much right there with these kids, and it kind of brought you right into the screen, and you felt like you were right there with your counselor. So again, very unique experience, and we're very fortunate that the partnership worked as well as it did.
So where can we go to learn more about the Ultimate Camp-In?
Well, ironically, September is Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. And if you go to nmfoundation.com, you can learn more about what we do at Northwestern Mutual in our fight to find a cure for childhood cancer. But you can also find more information about some of our partners, which include Alex's Lemonade Stand Foundation, Beads of Courage, and others. Basically, there's an awful lot of work that's being done, and we're having tremendous impact, but there's a lot more work that can be done. And the more we get people involved, the better off we're all going to be, and the sooner we'll find a cure.
I want to thank you so much for the work that you're doing.
Audrey, thank you for having us. Thanks for telling our story.
This is Talk with Audrey. Welcome back. Are you preparing to travel in this new normal? Well, my guest today is lifestyle and travel correspondent Amy Goodman, and she has the latest in local travel trends and how to plan a safe and happy road trip for the family. Hi, Amy.
Hello there. It's so lovely to speak with you.
As always, it's wonderful to speak with you, and I'm ready to get on the road, Amy. Where do we start if we're thinking about planning ahead for the weekend?
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, I definitely hear you. You know, we actually didn't as a family take a trip this summer, so we are all ready to plan our travel for the fall. And I think this 2020 is going to be all about embracing and loving the road trip once again. In a recent survey by Booking.com, which is one of the world's leading digital travel companies, they found that half of Americans are feeling very comfortable with planning domestic travel in the next 6 months, and that will most likely include road trips. Now, it's easier than ever, super convenient to make your rental car arrangements with over 13,000 different pickup locations throughout the US. And as the company showed us this summer, 93% of those car rental pickups by US customers happen at domestic locations. So I think that's saying a lot. Interestingly enough, New Yorkers were the most eager to hit the open road. Now, this company is amazing at seamlessly bringing together travelers for memorable experiences, of course, different ranges of transportation modes, such as we talked about the rental cars and also the road trips. And lastly, incredible places to stay, from hotels to homes and so much more.
Wow. Well, I'm excited right now just thinking about the possibilities. If it's a road trip, choosing the right vehicle is also important. So what sorts of features are you looking for a more family-friendly road trip?
Yeah, I'm always looking as a mom and a parent perspective for the latest advances in technology and also safety. So this enters the Sonata Hybrid. This is an incredible vehicle that has about 700 miles of drive range, which is pretty insane. Not only that, but it has a solar roof, which further powers the, recharges the hybrid battery and gives you even more driving range. My favorite, of course, though, is the smart trunk. So it means hands-free opening of the trunk. You simply stand within a few feet of the trunk, give it a few seconds, it pops right open as long as the car key is on your person. So like in your purse or in your pocket, but no more fumbling for the key when you are literally carrying tons and tons of luggage. And don't forget about Smart Park either, which enables you to park in really tight, hard to park spaces, in and out, super easily, sweat-free, no pressure. This is how I actually like to travel.
And what kind of smart technology should we consider taking along?
Yeah, so we want to combine that smart technology also with smart travel and safe travel. And for me, that's contactless services. Here's a brand new one. So for customers who are interested for paying for gas in a very secure, convenient, and simple way, you can use your Alexa app on your phone, either through Android or Apple phones. You can use a device like this, which is Echo Auto. It's a small device that you place into your car, or perhaps your vehicle is already Alexa enabled. Then you pull into the gas station and say, Alexa, pay for gas. It will identify the station, the gas pump number, and then also literally activate the gas pump. Now, transactions are made securely through Amazon Pay as powered by Fiserv, which enables customers to use their default payment method through their Amazon account. And this payments are handled automatically after fueling. There are no additional signups. You don't have to sign up for another program. It's literally that easy. You can pull up to over 11,500 Exxon mobile stations to use this new service that, again, is contactless and secure method of payment.
Okay, you're blowing my mind here, Amy. What other items do you think are really essential to have on the trip?
For me, we always like to have we take our devices with us, both for entertainment, but also for safety. It's very important to have your smartphone with you and ready to go in case you ever get into a circumstance where you need some help. So you'll notice I have a little charger over here with me, and it's a tiny charger, but it's not any regular charger. This is from Anker, and they are the global leaders in mobile charging. And it's about the size of a smartphone charger. It can charge your iPhone, your Android, your tablet, your iPad at lightning speeds. All you need is 15 minutes to fully charge your smartphone for 7 hours of music, or say 3 hours plus of your favorite television show. That's what I call great entertainment to go. And not only that, but the charging speeds are enabled by their incredible technology that they have that enable this PowerPoint Nano 3 to be really versatile. So it can be compatible with any of the aforementioned devices. And that includes your smartphone, your iPads, and your various tablets.
Amy, it's always good to talk with you. And one day things will be back to normal. We just don't know when. But in the meantime, everyone, plan a safe, happy road trip with your family. Appreciate you, Amy.
Thank you.
And that's it for this week's show. I'm Audrey Adams. Join me here next week for more insightful, intelligent, and inspiring conversations and information on Talk with Audrey. I'll see you next week.